Oh. Yeah, I got stuff in my.
We're recording, by the way. You hear that? The recording.
Yeah, I just, you want me to bring one? You want me to go get one? Or do you have? I have one of my dad's extra. I'll take one.
Know how to bring that up on here.
I don't know how to do any of that, but Matt just walked
Okay.
by.
And sit here in the front. So I do that.
Okay. What was that?
Excellent. Oh, there's.
I can fix you from the back. Awesome. I don't need to be on camera.
Hey, Council, did we just wrong?
There aren't even enough seats for the board up here.
You know, if you were a real man, you'd rode your bike into that.
Tell the commissioners to build a new room. You figure out how to get me a seat.
Well, you can sit.
Where?
What's he right now?
I thought you did a nice job. I thought that went well.
Thanks for joining us.
I thought it went well.
We're getting a lot of good press on. It's just, I've always believed that, yeah, you're gonna get the team together.
It's when you share the credit, it's surprising when you get them.
Yeah, I do.
No, I tell you, I noticed that the first time. If you lean back too far.
I'll get you a chair.
So.
Good morning, who's on the line? Don't move.
Good morning, Judge. What prison issue?
Listen.
You have a clue.
That's short.
Yeah, he's got a lot of. Not my sure. I heard it, but it's.
Stop that. Say something. So.
I know. But they sell us like.
Four. They my ass. Yes. That's what I want.
Gordon, I think I had that
Or.
issue resolved for
You
you.
can just know. that-
Just waiting for a call. So far, preliminaries. Place law.
Right.
We don't have to pay for it. We're not. Yeah. Right, so it's gonna, probably end up being the same thing. We're not gonna talk about that. No matter what the lawyer at the other end says, we don't have to have it on. Record.
Correct. So I don't.
Commissioner Metzger, license is on the line. Commissioner Metzger talked to me last night. We talked as though he was coming.
That's what I asked him if the meeting was here at the prison and he said, no, we're here. So I just,
That's what I thought.
I have a quorum, I say you start.
Okay.
we haven't, we're good. Okay.
Assuming there's someone on the phone.
Yes, Judge Butler's on.
That's what makes the quorum.
Oh, there's Commissioner Metzger.
Yeah, here he is.
You have no press. You have no. Suggest you take it.
Just wait for a second. What is that? I can't help. That's. Say something. I'll get that. Gosh.
Oh, no.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
I've seen you in a long time.
Bring the Lycoming County Prison Board public meeting to order Friday, August 9, 2024. Roll call, Judge Butts. Here, Judge?
I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Metzger.
Here.
Mr. Sortman. He's away.
He's away, yes.
Commissioner Messina.
Here.
Controller Rogers. Deputy Controller Gutschall. Either of those with us? Ian Marino.
Present.
And myself, and we have a quorum. I would presume everyone's received minutes from the July meeting. I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes of July meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Commissioner Messina, a second.
Second.
Second from DA Marino. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Public comment on agenda items only. One from the public wishes to speak regarding agenda items. And Director, do you have anyone on the horn there? Okay, I'll be going to expenditure reports. We'll come back and find someone who wants to speak, okay? Two more. 2.0, the vote to approve expenditures of the prison for release. Do you want to cover any they're awarded before we ask for a motion?
I suppose if you just want to ask for a motion.
Okay. Okay, is there a motion to approve the expenditure report for this period? Motion from
So moved.
the DA, a second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Messina. Are there any questions regarding the expenditure report from any of the board members? There being none, I would ask for a motion to approve.
We had that.
I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Do we have anybody, director, that wanted to speak regarding agenda items only? Okay, personnel actions. Order.
Thank you, Sheriff. We have 4 personnel actions. First being Devin Miller as a full-time correctional officer relief at the jail. Tate Sechrist, also a full-time correctional officer relief at the jail. April Marshall as a full-time resident supervisor, and Wayne Flieger as a part-time driver, both at the pre-release center.
Anything else, board? No, personnel action.
Nope.
Could I have a motion to accept the motion to approve the personnel that the ward had?
So moved.
From the DA, with a motion in a second.
I'll second.
From Commissioner. That's good. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
We'll just call it, Sheriff.
Okay, motion passes. Who just called in?
I'm
Hi.
Chris.
Hi, Controller Rogers. Thank you.
sorry about that.
That's okay. It's you probably had to float over, didn't you, from the hill? 4.0, informational reports and highlights award.
Population report for the month of July. There was an average of 162.03 males at the prison and 40.65 at the pre-release center, for an average daily population of 202.68 and a peak of 209. Females, there were 31.19 at the prison and 6.9 at the pre-release center, for an average daily population of 38.1 and a peak in the month of 42. Our average daily population was 240.77. We had a peak population in the month of 249. There were no overcrowding transfers. So our total average population is also 240.77. There were 1.48 males on average on in-home detention in the month. The prison discipline report is the next report in your packet. The disciplinary committee chaired by Deputy Warden Barnes conducted 56 hearings in the month. 53 of those hearings resulted in guilty findings with disciplinary lockup time imposed. 2 resulted in guilty findings with disciplinary lockup time suspended, and 1 resulted in a not guilty finding. Those hearings were held on 33 inmates. 9 of which had more than one incident report, and staff generated 21 informational reports in the month. Is there any additional information, Ryan? Pre-release center report is next. And in the month of July, there was an average of 11 males on work release and 1 female on work release, 30 males on work crew and 6 females on work crew, for an average of 41 and 7. Our year-to-date averages are 39 males and 7 females. And program highlights for the month: the staff at the pre-release center completed taser training. That was conducted on July 30th. That was held by Training Sergeant Joe DeFrancisco.
Question? Question.
Yes, sir.
How many total were out of pre-release?
In the month, we had a total, according to the population report, we had a total of 40.65 males and 6.9, so just under 7 females per day and right around 40 to 41 males per day.
We're getting close to 50.
We, total population, yeah, in fact, you can see
Not the prison, I mean, just pre-release.
at the pre-release center, correct, yes. I think our average was down a little bit. If you look at the average daily population, we had just slightly less males per day from June to July, and just a little, about 1 inmate per day less for females from June to July. But if you look at the male average, 40.65 is the second highest that we had so far this year. Females were a little bit lower, but I think where we're tracking at the beginning of August, we're actually a little higher in females. In fact, today we have 12 females out at the pre-release center.
Off the top of your head, just how many did we have in January?
Females or males?
No, just total.
Just under 40 males at the pre-release center and about 7 females, so about 47.
About the same. It's not increasing, and that's been concern voiced by the commissioners for the last 2 years.
Because Coach Butts and I had a conversation some time ago, and my office was pushing to get more pre-release and less on electronic monitor.
But it's not happening. I've been watching these numbers daily. It's not happening. The budget talks are coming off soon, and we had to find a better way to utilize that building.
So, but I'm surprised to hear that we had that many January, or how about December before that, of last year? Roughly. This has to be more than what was going on out there, because we're asking for more and more people on pre-release, right, Judge?
But it's
Yeah.
not.
At least in my courtroom,
But
the only people that go on electronic monitoring are those in treatment court.
Right.
I look at these numbers daily. We have every day. We average 6 or 7 females every day. We're averaging maybe 2 or 3 more males per day since I've been beating this drum for a year.
So
It's not increasing.
The other problem is the new legislation with with probation. Individuals on probation can't be in jail. And they can't be in jail for longer periods of time the way they used to. So that's why you're seeing generally not a lot of recommitments on parole violations or probation violations. Or if you do, they spend very little time. Where before we used to bring people in there for 14 days, now they come in at 7 to court.
Then we have to figure out,
Be mindful of Act 44.
then Judge, we have to figure out a different way to utilize the building more efficiently, whether it's juveniles, mental health, something to increase the usage of the building. It's a $2 million expense to the taxpayers. I'm not saying put people out there to fill it.
I agree.
I'm not saying that, hold a
I
second.
agree.
I'm not saying to fill it because I don't want people going to jail that are unnecessary to go to jail. What I'm saying is we need to utilize the facility more efficiently. And it's not been going on.
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
I agree.
My suggestion is juvenile probation has to go outside the state, place juveniles.
Correct.
Why don't we do something out there that juvenile probation can put kids out there. We have enough room. I don't know what the cost is. Boss, where'd you get to? Is it, can we take a section out there to put juveniles into and stop having to go to Ohio or Texas or wherever the guys are driving?
I thought that that was one of the proposals that juvenile probation was suggesting, was converting some part of the pre-release center to a juvenile holding detention facility, utilize space.
Yeah, Judge, I don't know if you could hear what Matt just said was that, to do that, we would just have to jump through a lot of hoops. And to get the accreditation and things along those lines, we can't just do it. So it's a process, and if we wanted to do it, we would have to start the process.
Plus, I think it also starts with the township. And whether the township would allow use of the building for juveniles, we have to check with the township.
Well, then there could be another alternative, which if you want me to pursue it, I would be certainly glad to, in light of the Behavioral Health Summit that's coming up in October, is I know that the MDJs are concerned about the number of people, especially in the city, who have mental health problems, who are arrested and put in jail versus some type of crisis intervention or some type of middle response or even an initial response that diverts them out of the criminal justice system. That's a possibility. It wouldn't be a different use of that facility like a juvenile facility would be. So if that's something after you pursue juveniles, if that's something you'd like me to look into, I would be glad to talk with Keith Wagner about it.
Well, any option. We have a mental health crisis. We have a juvenile crisis. We have to look at different ways to be more efficient at that building. Because we're spending a lot of money for basically half of it to be used.
I'll talk to Keith Wagner about it. We'll put something together.
Thank you.
We just spent 2 days working with JPO because we had to bring a juvenile female back from Ohio and get her back to Ohio. I mean, that is a major resource. Just planning it is a major resource. And then you got to schedule the movement. And I think the movement, Chief Spiegel, was done yesterday.
Yes, sir, last evening.
And it goes in through the night into the morning. Juvenile definitely needs to be addressed. There's no question.
While we're pushing the project on our end, my end, Matt and I are pushing that project. We have a meeting next week, anxious to get to.
Anything else, Mr. D, that you had on? Board.
Bail release program report is next. And in the month of July, the bail release program had an average of 136.9 clients, broken down to 42.1 on supervised bail, 93.45 on intensive supervised bail, 1 on supervised release, and on driving under suspension sentence, and 0.35 on supervised release on domestic relations sentence. The clients saved a total of 4,244 bed days at the jail in the month of July. The mental health snapshot is the next report. Snapshot was taken on August 9th, and on that day, there was a total of 278 inmates within the prison system, 230 males and 48 females. Of that population, 42.09% were under roster A, having no mental health history. 24.1% were under roster B, having past mental health history, but no active symptoms in the last year. 30.22% were under roster C, having current mental health issues. And 3.6% were under roster D, experiencing serious mental illness. The psychotropic medications dispensed at the pre-release center Of the 41 inmates total, male inmates at the pre-release center, 9 were receiving meds, or 21.95% of the population. Of the female population on this day, there were 9 inmates and 4 were receiving meds, or 44.44%. And at the jail, there were 47 on meds out of 170 males. That's 27.65%. And there were 12 females out of 35 receiving meds, or 34.29%. The total percentage of inmates receiving meds at the pre-release center was 26. At the prison, it was 28.78, and total within the prison system was 28.24. That's the last report that I have. The next report, or informational report, is from Geo.
Morning, Tyler.
I'll start with a report from John Stahl, APO. As far as the program population statistics for the August meeting, 0 were sentenced, 106 were APO, 0 pretrial. The total program population as of August 5th was 106, 80 of which were male clients and 26 female clients. Program phase 2 clients consisted of 55. Program phase 3 clients were 17. The total process intakes to date was 2,015. GPS alcohol monitoring services, there's 24 individuals receiving these services, 7 of which are the alcohol monitor or the TADs, the 4 GPS monitor, 10 home guards, and 3 SL3 breathalyzers. The total amount of client intakes into the GPS alcohol monitoring services, 2,095. The juvenile overview of services, there are 12 active cases on GPS services through geo monitors as of August 1st. Moving on to the in-prison reentry statistics, the current active participants as of July 31st is 42, 0 pending intakes. And since January, there have been 83 intakes completed, 4 ORADS assessments, 78 transitional action plans, and 173 sessions completed. The total participants in the in-prison program who were released from incarceration consist of 71, 11 referrals and appointments were made, 96 resources that were given. There were a total of 95 referrals made to the in-prison reentry program, 92 of which came from the prison and 3 of the pre-release center. Of the total referrals made to the program, 12 refused to participate, 6 were released from incarceration prior to being seen, and 0 people were referred but did not meet the criteria of the program. For the month of July, there was a total of 12 referrals, and these referrals broken down since January. There have been 5 probation violations, 8 max outs, 15 new cases, 16 domestics, 16 contempt, and then 0 pretrial and treatment court. The reentry services average population per day is 114, 16 total intakes, 21 total discharges, and 9 successful completions. And the EM total participants, there's a total of 35, 24 of which are adults, and 11 are of which juveniles. That's all I have.
Any questions for Tyler before?
Guys all settled in?
Yeah, so we just got our countertop in. So the last big thing that we're waiting for is a window in our building. But the move, it's coming along very well. So we hope to be settled in the next couple of weeks for good. So it was a process, but it's starting to come together now. So it's going well. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
Additional informational highlights: on July 2nd and July 18th, prison correctional staff participated in expandable baton training. That was conducted by Training Sergeant Joe DeFrancisco. On July 8th, Deputy Warden Ebner met with Dr. Craig Miller and Rachel Thompson from Penn College to discuss implementation of college courses at the prison for inmates. On July 8th also, Deputy Warden Barnes, Deputy Warden Ebner, and I attended a meeting with the courts and the Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association, and that was to discuss central booking center regulations. On July 9th, I participated in an executive committee meeting with the Pennsylvania County Corrections Association. On July 15th, Prison and West Branch Drug and Alcohol Abuse Commission submitted a grant to PCCD for additional funding for medication-assisted treatment. And on July 23rd, Prison and PRC staff attended a webinar held by the United States Department of Justice. The webinar was titled Correctional Facilities Obligations to Provide Medications for Opioid Use Disorder under the Americans with Disabilities Act. It was an informational webinar explaining what correctional facilities are required to provide or will be required to provide, along with recommendations. And most of what was covered in that is already being done at the jail, but certainly we're continuing to watch MAT treatment regulations and updating our program. Those are all the informational highlights I have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the warden? Informational highlights. There being none, is there any old business from the board? Being none, any new business?
Business Controller Rogers, I just wondered, I saw an email July 16th from a bail release officer to prison board members, and I hadn't seen any response. I didn't know if there was any discussion on this.
I did not see. Krista, who did it go to? Do you know? Remember?
It went to all of us as prison board members. You were on there. Mark, Luck, Messina, Sortman, Metzger, Judge Butt, EA, and myself, as well as the warden, deputy, and on officer safety.
It's an officer safety issue?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll try to read it today and see if we need to act on it as soon as we read it, and if so, we will. Because I'm looking across the table, I don't think anybody's seen it.
Where is it?
It was an email.
I get 200 a day.
Okay, well, let's all see if we can find it, July 16th, Krista, right? Okay, we'll find it and I'll have a discussion with the board and see if we have to take any action regarding it. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Any other new, I'm sorry, go on, Krista.
She said.
No, I just said you're welcome, because I
Okay,
was waiting and I thought I should bring it up here since I hadn't seen any response on it.
okay, we'll make sure we see it today. Any other new business? There being none, board comment. Any comments from any of the board? About the rain pledge. There being none, public comment, anyone from the public present wishes to speak? And if none, Colonel, is there anyone on? No comments online. Okay, there being none, the next prison board meeting will actually be at the prison on Friday, September 13th. Friday the 13th? Yes. Who arranged that? You did. Okay, Friday the 13th at 8:30. And there being no other business, board is adjourned.
Thank you.